released. Chelsea have new owners. Signings won't be done quickly. We are talking Chelsea, and of course, the board are leaving. Bruce Buck's gone after 30 years. Marina looks like she's on her way out the door. No signings yet. Jules Koundé done. They say nothing else is happening. I know Anita's feeling stressed. I know it.
I can't tell.
Do you know what? I don't stress out over these things. I'm playing it cool. I'm fine. I think we're gonna be just fine. I'm not. Of course, I'm goddamn stressed. Like, what the hell is going on? The thing is, Bruce Buck. That is a big statement. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody really. I don't want to say they don't give a toss, but no one really gives a toss about Bruce Buck, really and truly. Like, he's been here for a long time, and he's only stepping down. Like, he's going to be a senior advisor or something like that. So him moving into a senior advisory role, I'm just like, okay, so you're still part of the club, so it's still not a big deal. What I'm waiting for is Marina Granovskaia. That one's gonna be a bullet to the brain for me. I feel like that one will really just knock me out. A lot of Chelsea fans complain about her, but they act like she's the one who sanctions all of the transfers that happen. They act like she's the one that brings the player to the club or requests the player, like Timo Werner. She did not request these type of players. She only negotiates, and then people say, but what about when we wanted Alisson and Van Dijk and she didn't want to give the money? We were going to spend £150 million on two players in one.
You don't need to stress. You got Todd Woodward Todd Bowley.
I don't know him. I need to know him.
Yeah, Anita.
We just met.
Todd B, as Have Hope said. Todd B.
Are you worried you're going to be in the top 4 race next season?
I don't think we're not going to be in the top 4. I think we're 100% top 4 race, 100%. But at the same time, why not, a cheeky title challenge?
Hey, clip that.
Challenge there. Well, your big target at the moment, and supposedly he's been talking to people that know Tuchel. The links to Raheem Sterling don't want to go away. And now the report is that he's liking the idea of leaving City and joining Chelsea. Is Raheem Sterling to Chelsea, in your opinion, good enough business?
Yeah. At first, the price was roughly around 35 million. I think it's gone up to the 50, 60 million region. And I still think that is a perfect signing to have. A lot of the Chelsea fan base are really conflicted as to whether they want him or not. And I just feel like it's because we watch him week in, week out. Because if it was another version of Raheem Sterling in La Liga playing for Barcelona, we'd be all in for him and we'd be thinking, yes, we want him. We want that guy. Raheem Sterling on paper is a perfect addition to this Chelsea team. He's actually a winger or inside forward, as some people have been trying to correct me all week. I call him a winger, but he's actually an attacker who scores goals. Right? That's what Chelsea needs at the moment. They need a shooter, somebody that can cut in, drift in, and shoot on target, at least the bare minimum. And Raheem Sterling delivers that. He's been delivering that for Manchester City. He's played right wing, left wing. He's played cam. He's played centre forward. He's played false 9. He's played second striker this entire season. He's done that for 2 seasons in a row. And people are telling me they don't want him. What do you guys want? I'm so confused if people want to see Christian Pulisic play false 9 again. I don't want to see that happen again. I don't want to see these things happen. So Raheem Sterling, a very good addition to Chelsea. And I hope we actually do get that over the line, man.
What do you guys think? Obviously, we know Sterling, he scored and created just over 200 goals in 330 odd games for Man City. He's prolific. He's out there. I mean, you won't find many inside forwards in Europe. I think someone did a comparison of his Prem stats versus Mane's stats since Mane's been at Liverpool, and they're practically identical. And the world would, we're talking about him being a Ballon d'Or winner. This guy scores, he creates. What do you think, Igal? Like, you kind of have a look on your face that suggests that Arsenal's kind of business is going to put you on par with Chelsea. That's just the look you give me.
I've been saying over the whole time that they've been having this situation with Roman leaving, that there's going to be a major overhaul and they're going to need more surgery to be done than they actually expect. And now we're starting to see with the defenders that they're going to need to re-strengthen their midfield and their attack. we're seeing that Chelsea are now coming down to the pack of Tottenham, Arsenal, and Manchester United. And Tottenham might be the one that's at the top of that list now in comparison to the four of us, where you would have said Chelsea was at the top of that list last season, and going into next season, you would have expected Chelsea to be at the top of the list. So I think Raheem Sterling is a good signing. I really do think he's a good player, and he would do good for a team that plays to his strengths. But Chelsea, we've seen players have to adjust to Chelsea. Chelsea don't adjust to they don't play to player strength. You have to come in and you have to adjust quickly to how they play. And I think there is a lot of people who are going to question Raheem Sterling. He does miss a lot of chances. He needs a lot of he might need I don't know his conversion rate, but he does seem to need a lot more chances to bag similar amount of goals as other players. And also, you guys have been spoiled. You guys had Eden Hazard for so long. So if you're comparing him to that guy, you're not going to have a good time at Chelsea. Look at the pressure Pulisic has been on, and he hasn't been able to live up to the standards that Chelsea need. And if Raheem Sterling comes in, guess what? A lot in football culture today, people stand players. And when you guys were standing Hazard for years, deservedly so, one of the guys you made fun of was Raheem Sterling. So I don't know how quick your fan base are going to get used to having him around after making fun of him for so many times.
I think it's a good sign. I don't think you can do much worse than Raheem Sterling. He's someone who's scored 10 goals a season very consistently for a top team. And yes, he has his awful finishing moments. Honestly, some of them are fantastic. Burnley, Leon, they warm my heart as a Liverpool fan watching him fail. But what he does in terms of positioning is exactly what Chelsea need, because as much as you weren't creating as many chances as you wanted last year, was the narrative. I do think you were creating some good chances, but your wingers aren't natural goal scorers. Raheem Sterling isn't a natural goal scorer, but he's more refined. He gets himself in the right positions. So in the situations last year, I mean, watching some Pulisic last season or Hudson-Odoi or whoever got chucked out on that left, having Raheem Sterling there will be a big change for Chelsea, and it'll be a positive one. If you're going to run with Mount, Havertz and Sterling, that link up as well will be fantastic. 3 different players who offer 3 different things.
Just to interject as well on your thing about conversion rate, I checked it while you said it. See, this is one of those misconceptions because some of the misses are so comedic. So I've just checked the last 4 seasons. This season just gone, 28% conversion rate. The 2021 season, 20%. 2019-20, 29% conversion rate. 2018-2019, 30% conversion rate. So he scores a huge number of the chances that he has created for him. The problem is Sterling just has one of these myths attached to him that he's a bad finisher, that he misses too many chances. A lot of players do. His conversion rate is on average 7% higher than Lionel Messi's, but no one says Lionel Messi misses loads of chances. It's weird that Raheem Sterling kind of labelled this.
It's the technique, isn't it? It's the technique.
No, it's not. It's more than technique. I think part of it is the technique. I do agree. Shooting technique it doesn't get the shot power certain times, that kind of thing. But shot conversion is a stat that can be, I guess, manipulated, so to speak, or it doesn't tell the full story. Ronaldo's shot conversion rate is probably very, very low compared to how many goals he's actually scored in terms of his career. But that's because, for example, he takes a lot of long shots. Messi takes a fair amount of long shots as well. Sterling probably doesn't take that many long shots. So a lot of his goals and chances are scored within the area. One second. A lot in the area, maybe a lot of them even within the 6-yard box, potentially. So you probably need to look at a stat that shows more expected goals versus goals scored, or something along those lines, big chances missed, those kind of stats to say whether or not he's a good finisher. But what I would say is that we had a discussion in the group chat the other day, and I think Sterling is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. I think part of it comes with the tag that he was given when he left Liverpool. I'm not blaming Liverpool fans solely, but they're definitely a part of it. The Liverpool fans in the media are definitely a part of it. And this tag about, how are you going to leave Liverpool, basically? How dare you leave Liverpool? But he went to Man City. He's had 2 better years, complete seasons at Man City than he's ever had at Liverpool. He won the Football Writers Player of the Year, won the Young Player of the Year. He's won multiple Premier League and other trophies. His goal numbers, his tally and assists are brilliant. And he can play multiple positions, as Anita already said. For Chelsea, he walks in and is easily, without a shadow of a doubt, their best forward. Like, it's not even a debate. So once that is the case, and they've got a lot of forwards, you sign him, because you can then sell 3 or 4 and your attack is still better just because you've got Raheem Sterling. So for me,
just on another stat, so I mentioned Werner. So Timo Werner in his first 2 seasons at Arsenal, they both averaged two shots.
Chelsea.
Sorry. 2 shots per game. They both average. Okay, inside the box. 2 shots per game on average inside the box. The conversion rate of Werner in his first season was 10%, and it improved slightly this season to 14%. So Raheem Sterling is going to essentially, if you just look at his career compared to Werner, if he gets the same amount of chances, will score double the goals. And Werner actually, the amount of goals he scored hasn't, only 4 last season as an example. But Sterling is more prolific than him, typically.
In that title winning game against Aston Villa, people talk about De Bruyne, Gundogan, great. Sterling came off the bench and got the assist. I think it was for the first goal back, where he stood up the fullback, beat his man, got a cross into the back post. Like, the guy can play on either side and he's equally effective. England, he was their best player in the tournament. And people were calling for him to drop before the tournament started. He's heavily underrated.
Anita, don't you feel your fan base has been spoiled with such a great winger in Eden Hazard that has now made them think that is the norm? So they put that similar pressure on other players. Because when I see people making fun of Raheem Sterling, they're always comparing him to Hazard.
Yeah, and that's literally why the Chelsea fan base is so conflicted, because of familiarity. We see Raheem Sterling week in, week out. We've compared him to Eden Hazard. Trust me, I've been one of them fans that compared Raheem Sterling to Eden Hazard, telling everyone that Eden Hazard is the better player. But unfortunately, those are the shoes that you're going to have to fill, and those are the expectations that we set ourselves as Chelsea fans. If you lower those expectations, then it's one of them ones where you start lowering your standards, and you don't really want to lower your standards as a Chelsea fan or as a football fan in general. You don't want to do that, because then you start accepting mediocrity. And the fact that we do not accept mediocrity is why we are going for Raheem Sterling. I feel like everyone talks about stats in football, but mentality and mindset always gets pushed to the side, always gets pushed as, it doesn't matter. But it matters so much. Raheem Sterling has won how many Premier Leagues? I think he's won as many Premier Leagues as Chelsea has. That coming in knows what it is to win, and that's the type of player you need to come in. He's already Premier League proven. I know people always say Premier League proven doesn't mean nothing, but to me it does. He's already Premier League proven. He's got the career to back it up at Manchester City. He's a winner. He's played under Pep Guardiola, probably one of the most intense coaches that you can play under, and it just makes perfect sense to bring him in. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But one thing Chelsea fans will have to let go of is comparing him to Eden Hazard, because we're never going to get a player like Eden Hazard again. But we can only strive towards getting a player who's